Hello again. As you know, I'm Eli the Computer Guy. Today's class is on something called SEO, or Search Engine Optimization. This is probably the most important topic you will learn about for doing web marketing. Search engine optimization beats everything else, bar none. It's wonderful. It's like the sliced bread of the internet world. Basically, all search engine optimization is it's making your website look better for Google. So Google uses something called PageRank in order to order websites when people do a search. So if people do a search for, let's say, Baltimore computer repair, Google goes out to all the sites that it's indexed. It does a lot of math, and then it figures out who should be in place 1, who should be in place 2, place 3, place 4, place 5, place 6, place 7, place 8, etc. So by doing search engine optimization, you increase the chances that your website will show up on top, or will show up ahead of other websites. Your end goal, what you're trying to do, is show up as the #1 position in organic search traffic. So we did a class on Google AdWords, and Google AdWords is where you pay for your advertisement to be shown. That's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. Search engine optimization is where you configure your website so you will hopefully show up #1 in the search results for free. So if you do search engine optimization properly, you get all the benefits of AdWords, but you don't pay a dime. It's free traffic. So, if you go to your computer right now and you type in some type of service, like I say, computer repair for your city, or I don't know, dog wash for your city, whatever service you're looking for, you'll notice that up at the top there are those AdWords advertisements, but below that there are businesses that show up in the normal search results, and that's free advertising for them. Eli the Computer Guy went out of business. I went out of the repair shop business on April 24th, 2009. Screw it, I'm going home, I'm done, employees are fired, doors are locked, done. I have not done any computer work as Eli the Computer Guy since April 24th of 2009. So obviously, if I'm not doing computer work as Eli the Computer Guy, I'm also not paying a dime on advertising. I stopped, all major advertising at the beginning of last year, stopped the AdWords campaigns, all of that, because I knew, I was going out of business. But now look at this. This is a screenshot for Baltimore data recovery. Notice I did search engine optimization so well, I still come up in the #1 position. Look, Baltimore laptop repair, I still come up in the #1 position. Baltimore Mac repair, I still come up in the #1 position. And look at this, Baltimore computer repair, after a year of not advertising, after almost a year of being completely and utterly out of business, I still show up in the #3 position. So Eli the Computer Guy still shows up. Now, while I was in business, obviously, this was a great form of advertising, and you understand, that you can make money from it. But I still make money from this because I charge a referral fee for referring people off to other consultants that I know. So I work with a couple of consultants. Simply because my old search engine optimization worked so well, I literally make a few $100s a month simply in referral fees. And people still type in Baltimore computer repair or Baltimore data recovery, Baltimore laptop repair, etc. They still get my information, they still email me, they still call me, etc. And I just pass them off to the other consultant friends, and I make money. So search engine optimization, this isn't pie in the sky stuff, this isn't, you're not going to get rich quick off this, but this is a wonderful and probably the most important component to your web marketing effort. Because like I say, it's 100% free, and if you do it well, you just beat the snot out of all your other competition. So this class is going to teach you about all the theory and concepts that go behind creating a good search engine optimization program for your website. So when webmasters or web people talk about search engine optimization, when you see the search engine optimization classes and books and all that other stuff, they almost always all entirely focus on Google. And you might find this is a little weird because, you know, if you're trying to make your website look good for search engines, don't you have to do certain things for different types of search engines? Well, the reason everybody focuses on Google is frankly for the small guys, for people like me, for people like you, for 90% of the population, Google is actually the only game in town. You may hear that, let's say, Google owns 60 or 70% of the search market. And so they sound really big and they sound really mammoth. For the small businesses like ours, the numbers are even more astronomical than that. To give you a hint, I pulled the numbers for Eli the Computer Guy for my Google Analytics account and looked at the different search engines and what organic traffic they brought EliTheComputerGuy.com over the past calendar year. Now look at this. Google organic search traffic. So this is not AdWords, this is not I'm paying for anything. This is simply my little advertisement, or my website popped up because somebody was doing a search of some sort. Google sent me 18,475 visitors through Google organic search traffic. So somebody typed a search term into Google, my website popped up somewhere in there, and they came to my site. 18,475. Now, in the number 2 position is Yahoo. And you know Yahoo is the number 2 position. So what? They're supposed to own 20% of the search market. So how many visitors do you think they sent me? You think they sent me 5,000, 6,000, 7,000? They sent me 321 visitors using Yahoo organic search. So Google sent 18,475 people to me. Yahoo sent 321. There's no excuse for that, really. I mean, you can try to think in your head, and I did think about it, you know, oh, maybe I'm not doing something that Yahoo likes. If I was 50% less than Google, or I don't know, 80% less than Google, you may be able to argue that it was a problem with I wasn't modifying my site properly for it to show up in Yahoo. But when Google sends me 18,475 visitors, Yahoo sends me 321, that means, to me, Yahoo's worthless. I don't give a damn about Yahoo. And then Bing is 287. So everybody keeps hearing about Bing. Oh, Bing is the next greatest thing. Bing is taking search market share from Google. Well, I don't know where they're taking it from, but as far as I'm concerned, Google is the king. So that's why we focus on Google, because they're really the only people that send traffic to sites like most of us are going to be dealing with. Google uses something called PageRank to rank sites, and we use search engine optimization to try to boost PageRank. Google uses somewhere around 200 different factors about your website to give your website PageRank. We're going to go over like 5 or 6 of them. Google is very secretive about many of the factors that they use for ranking your website. So we're going to talk about backlinks, we're going to talk about XML Site Maps, we're going to talk about internal links and stuff like that. Those are the things that we can deal with. But just keep in mind, there's about 195 other factors that Google takes into account when ranking your website that we don't really know what they are. So when we're doing search engine optimization, the main thing that you have to realize when you're doing search engine optimization is Google's business is search. So the better results that they provide their clients, the people doing searches, the more people will use Google and the bigger they will grow. The worse the results that people using Google will get, the worse Google will do. So basically what Google is looking for in your website is it's looking for websites that are relevant to the people doing searches. So on that order, they tell you how to make your website look better to Google search. There's something called robots. These are little programs that go through and scan your website. So they want to teach you some of how to make your website look better for their search engine, because if you're really a good web programmer and if you really do have a good web business, they want to allow you the ability to make your website do better. but be careful of trying to game the system. Part of those 200 factors that they won't tell you is you can lose page rank. So you can create lots of links to your website, you can do everything by the book, but if it looks like you're trying to game Google's system, Google can go all the way to dropping you from the search engine entirely. So when we talk about doing search engine optimizations, we want to make your website look better to Google, but really what we're trying to do is make your website look better to the average visitor coming to your website. And then therefore that will make it look better to Google. There are things you can do, like we'll talk about keywords in a little bit. Like some people used to add all these keywords to their website and then make the font color, so the text color, like white. So imagine there's a white background. They type out all these special keywords to try to make themselves look better on Google, but they don't want their visitors to actually see the keyword. So they then make the font color, that text color, the exact same color as the background. If you do stuff like that, Google is going to smack you hard. So these are a couple of things to keep in mind. You know, we deal with Google for search engine optimization because it is the only game in town at the end of the day. Google uses PageRank. This is where they rank your website based on a number of factors. We're going to go over, like I say, about 5 or 6 of the factors that we have anything to do with. There are about 195 other factors that we don't even know what they are, so just keep that in mind. And so with that, give me 1 second and we're going to go dive deeper into how to make your website look better for Google search. Now, before we really start talking about the search engine optimization, there are 3 things that you should have set up before you even start worrying about the search engine optimization. So before you start going and tweaking your site, do these 3 things. The first is, of course, set up analytics software for your website. At the very least, set up Google Analytics software so you can see how your visitors get to your site and how they use it once they get there. If you don't have Google Analytics or analytics software set up on your computer, then all the rest of this is a waste of time. So get analytics software set up first, period. The next account that you should have through Google is something called Google Webmaster Tools. Just do a Google search of it. Google Webmaster Tools allows you to take a look at your site, and we're going to have a demonstration of this after a while. And it'll tell you which keywords Google thinks is most prominent on your site. It'll show you things like how fast Google thinks your page loads. So it'll tell you the load time of the page. It'll tell you errors that it sees or it doesn't like. It will tell you, or it will allow you to submit an XML Site Map to the Google Webmaster Tools. Google Webmaster Tools is a relatively simple piece of software, but if you're going to do search engine optimization, you have to have your account set up and you have to be using it, because this really shows you what Google is doing to your website. So if you want to tweak how Google sees your website, then you've got to have some data. You've got to be able to look and see what it's seeing. So Google Webmaster Tools, set up an account. It'll take you 5 minutes to set up an account and do what you need to do to set that up. The last thing that you should set up is something called Google Local Business Center. Local Business Center allows you to plug your business into Google and do things like tell Google your phone number, tell Google the address, tell Google hours of operation, etc. This does a couple of things for you that actually even go beyond search engine optimization, which is good. Is by putting this into the system, Google now will know where you are located. So if somebody does a search for whatever your service is by a map, your point will actually show up on the map. And from there, people can give your business reviews, so they can say if your business was good or bad. You can actually put coupons into Local Business Center. So if somebody does a search and finds a coupon on there, they can, $5 off, $10 off. Those are the things beyond a search engine optimization that it does. The important part for search engine optimization is one of the factors that Google uses when it presents search results is now geographic location. So let's say you're in Baltimore and you're looking for Baltimore computer repair. Because I plugged all my information into local business center, I now show up as Baltimore. Google, you actually get a phone call from Google when you set all this up, so it tries to verify that you actually are in the place that you are. But once you have, Google then figures you're in Baltimore. So if people also are in Baltimore, and it can figure that out because it can determine approximately where they are by the internet service that they're using, they can say, oh, this person's looking for computer repair. They probably are looking for computer repair in Baltimore, so we're going to give more page rank to the Baltimore computer repair shops. So you really, really, really want to set up your local business center account. Again, it's not simply for search engine optimization, it's because it gives you a lot of other benefits in Google. But really, for search engine optimization, it's very important because the closer the person is physically to you that's doing the search, the higher your website will come up in the organic search results. So you keep these you set up these 3 services before you start search engine optimization, and your life will be a lot easier. So the first factor that Google uses to determine your page rank is, of course, the actual content of your website. So it looks at what your website is saying to determine, what page rank it should give. When you're creating your website or when you're modifying your website, there's a couple of things that you have to keep in mind. Google can only read HTML text. It can only read text. And so it can only index text. So if you have a bunch of Flash graphics, and even if the Flash graphics actually have words in them, you have like buy, there's some graphic, and then buy comes at you, computers, it's a graphic animation of words. Google cannot read that. It can only read just normal, regular HTML text. So if you have pictures, you have Flash graphics, if you have videos, remember all of those things, they may look very, very pretty to your visitors, but Google doesn't know what to do with them. They don't get cataloged, they don't get indexed, and they don't help your page rank in any way, shape, or form. So keep that in mind when you're creating your website. This is what I tell a lot, especially the smaller businesses. Some of the smaller businesses want all these flashy graphics and everything because they think their visitors will like it better. And what I tell them is, no, you want a more plain text-based website because, one, a lot of visitors actually don't like all the flashy graphics. There's a lot of problems with those flashy graphics. And 2, Google can't read them, and so you'll get less visitors to your site because your page rank will be worse, and so you'll get less of that organic search traffic. So you really should put as much just regular text into your website as possible. If you're an HTML programmer, you know about something called alternate text. There is an alt text tag. So if you put a picture onto a website, and for some reason that picture can't be displayed, the browser will show a text. So you may say, this is a picture of a dog, or this is a picture of a German Shepherd. And if for some reason the picture cannot be displayed, the web browser will display that text instead. So if you are going to put a lot of pictures, graphics, videos onto your website, I suggest that you use that alt tag, if you know what I'm talking about, to describe what the video or picture is. Google can read those alt tags, and that will help you in PageRank. So Google can't read videos and pictures, but if you put that alt tag in, at least it will help you a little bit when you're dealing with PageRank. Now, Google wants to see organic words. Google, their little algorithm, tries to simulate after a fashion how people actually speak or how people actually write things. So if Google robot goes to a website and it just has computer repair, replicated, 500 times, it's gonna think your website is crap. What it wants to see is it wants to see sentences, and it wants to see paragraphs, and it wants to see words said in those sentences and paragraphs that make some kind of sense. So basically, when you're creating your website, you should really think about fleshing out all the paragraphs about your descriptions, about your services, about yourself, Because the more you say in just normal flowing organic writing text, the better your site will look to the Google little robot that comes to your site to scan your site. I always try to get my clients to write blogs. Most of them don't, but I try to get them to write blogs, because by writing blogs, you can very easily add all these organic search words to your website easily. So you just sit down and you write your little blog, and you talk about business today, like when I did computer repair. You know, every day or so, I would write a blog post about the latest thing that I was saying in computer repair. So whether it was virus problems, whether it was web design problems, and I would write this out. My clients liked it because they got to see what was going through my head. So especially with new clients, they would read my blog posts on my website, and they would see how I think, and they would see that I could think and I could write. That actually does matter. I mean, people are worried about sending their work off to computer shops. You know, they don't really know what Igor is going to be working on their computer. But if they can see that somebody obviously is thinking outside the box, you know, they're creating up their own ideas, they're giving computer philosophy, this makes the client feel better, just in the normal marketing sense. But then from the search engine optimization sense, since I was writing this every couple of days, I was putting a huge amount of organic search words onto my website that of course helped my page rank. Because, you know, if I'm doing all these blog posts about computer repair, then computer repair is repeated organically a huge amount of times through my website, and that made my website look much better to Google. Now, if you are going to put a blog onto your website, I would highly suggest you use a piece of software to build your website called WordPress. We again are going to talk about this at the end of the class, but don't create a blog, let's say on blogger.com or on WordPress.com. If you're going to create a blog for your website, you need the blog to be built into your website. You need to own all that material. So blogs are very, very useful for creating these organic search words, but you need to own it. You need to have your own WordPress installation or such, so that you get all the search traffic. So realistically, the main thing that Google is looking for, the main one, is it's looking for text that it thinks will be relevant to the people doing a search. So the more you can write organically about your products, about your services, etc., the better you will do on PageRank. So let's say if you had services, let's say when we did laptop repair for Eli the Computer Guy, you could do laptop repair price $150 to $300. And your visitors would understand what that means. But that's not very useful for Google. So what I would say is you do a title of laptop repair, and then under that you do laptop power jack repair is $150, and under that you put a description. We will replace your laptop, resolder your laptop power jack, and do all of these tests for $150. Then under that you do laptop LCD monitor replacement. You know, we will replace your LCD monitor. We will check your inverter. We will do all of these things for you. So look at that. You can either say something really short and sweet, you know, a couple of words, and your normal visitor understands what it is. Or if you flesh out what you're saying, the way I'm describing, Google will like that a lot better. So instead of just saying like laptop repair, you do laptop power jack repair and then do a description. Laptop monitor repair and then do a description. Laptop keyboard replacement and then do a description. That will look much, much better to Google. The final thing with just normal text on your site is Google does think that heading tags are more important than normal paragraph text. You should understand this from HTML programming, but basically the heading tags are, you know, the larger, bolder the word, you know, you have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading all the way down to 6. So when you're going to be doing the headings for sections, really think about what you should say. So like I say, instead of just doing, let's say on the repair page, instead of just saying repairs, you could say computer repairs, or to try to flesh out what you're saying with those headings, because Google does give more points to whatever is in the headings. So the more descriptive you can be in the H1, H2, H3, etc. tags, the better you will be. So just make a website that you would be happy to look at. Don't try to make some crap thing just to get more visitors. It won't work out well. Write as much as possible. And again, like I say, one of the best things that you can do for your website is come up with a blog and write in it every day or two. That will bring you a huge amount of traffic. Now, the next thing that's really going to help out your website is something called an XML Site Map. An XML Site Map is basically a map of your website so that Google's little robots can figure out what's important on your website and where to go. These little robots that Google has, basically they're called robots or they're called spiders, and these are little pieces of software that go out and they index the whole World Wide Web. Google just sends these things out, and they have some little algorithm they follow, and they look at websites and they follow links in websites and they collect data, and then they send all that data back to Google servers, and Google figures out all the page rank and everything. Well, these are little robots. They just follow an algorithm. They follow whatever their programming says, and they're pretty small. I mean, they're powerful after a fashion, but they're not, this isn't artificial intelligence. They can only do so much. So when they go to your website, if you don't have a sitemap on your website, it just kind of has to figure out what your website is. So through whatever programming it has, it tries to search your website, but it just kind of randomly does it. So it'll go to your home page, and then it'll see what links you have, and then it'll follow those links. Well, if those links go out to another website, it'll follow the link out to another website, and it's gone. So just having the robot search your website in this fashion isn't very efficient, because the robot doesn't know what your website's about, and you need a way to be able to tell the robot what is important on your website, how many pages your website has, etc. And this is what an XML sitemap does. So when you have the Google Webmaster tool set up, you can submit your sitemap to Google, and then the robot understands what the different parts of your site are. So all the sitemap is it's this text document, basically, that tells the robot all the different pages that are on the website. It tells it how often those pages are updated, so how often the robot should come back and see if there are changes, and a number of other things. So all an XML sitemap does is it's basically a map for the robot to follow. The robot doesn't have to follow it. You can put in suggestions that you'd like the robot to follow, but the robot will still do whatever the robot does. But by having this XML sitemap on your website, the robot will hopefully search your website better. It'll be easier for it to get around and see what you have. Now, you can hand code an XML sitemap if you want to. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. I mean, it's a lot of text you have to write in. There are pay-for pieces of software that will automatically create XML sitemaps for you for just a normal HTML website. There's free XML sitemap generation software that's available. These, you can do a Google search for them. Basically, what happens is you go to whatever website creates the XML sitemaps for you. You tell it what website that you have that you want it to create an XML sitemap for. It will then scan your entire website, and then it will give you that sitemap. So it'll after it finishes scanning your website, you will then be able to download this, what's called an XML sitemap. All you do with that then is you then copy that to the root directory of your website. So just right where your index.html is, whatever folder that is, you just dump that XML sitemap right there. What I prefer, as I said before, and what we'll talk about at the end of this, is to use something like WordPress or Drupal. These are more sophisticated pieces of software that allow you to build your website, and they also allow you to put in automatic components for your website. So everymanit.com and EliTheComputerGuy.com both use WordPress, and there is something called a plugin that automatically rebuilds the sitemap of both of these websites whenever I change anything. So it's all done automatically. I don't have to go to any other websites. I don't have to upload. I don't have to do anything. I just install this plugin and the XML sitemap is automatically created. So the XML sitemap, just remember, this is a map for Google's robots or spiders to follow. They don't have to follow it, but they generally do. You know, it just makes their life and your life easier. To get the file, you can either hand code it, which I don't suggest. You can pay for pieces of software that will automatically do it for you if you have a normal HTML website. You can go to a lot of different websites out there and they will build you an XML file for XML sitemap for free. Or again, what I suggest is that you build your website off of something like WordPress or Drupal from the beginning, and then you can add a plugin or module that will automatically create that XML sitemap for you. However, you get that XML sitemap, all you do is you just copy that to the root directory of your website, so that wherever your index.html file is, that's the same place you put that sitemap, and then Google will find it and do the little robot search, etc. So you want a sitemap. It's pretty easy to do, and it will really help you out. So we've gone over the content. So the most important thing about your website, of course, is the content. The one thing that you should, tweak for Google is that the more text you can have, the better. We've talked about the XML sitemap, which is basically the map for the robot to follow so they can figure out what's on your website. The next thing, and the next very important thing that helps with page rank, is something called backlinks. All backlinks are links to your site from other websites. So basically, I mean, all it is a hyperlink. So if one blog has a hyperlink from the blog to your website, that is a backlink. Google looks for something called one-way backlinks. This is where one website refers to another website, but that other website does not refer back to it. So basically, it's just like a one-way road. This website here has a link to this website here, but this website here does not have a link back to the other website. The reason for this is there used to be something called link farming, where people would agree to swap links, and so Google found out that people weren't putting these links on their pages because they were actually any good for the website visitors that were coming to their websites. They were simply putting these links on their pages to try to increase their page rank. So Google put a little thing into their algorithm, and now it really only tries to look for one-way links. So if you have a website that links to you one way, then that helps your page rank. What really helps your page rank is the rank of the website that is pointing to you gets weighed for how many points you get. So let's say with Eli the Computer Guy.com, I really started to get a boost when more prominent websites started linking to my website. So when I started doing reviews of the LogMeIn software, LogMeIn.com actually posted links of my reviews on their website. So LogMeIn is much bigger than probably I will ever be. And so the fact that they, on their website, linked to my little EliTheComputerGuy.com website really helped my page rank. That gave me a lot of points. I was on the Sun Microsystems website for a while. So it does matter who's linking to you. You know, if little Billy Bo Bob's blog links to you, I mean, you get a few points. You get a couple of things. I mean, it's not bad. But when you can get Sun Microsystems to link to you, or Citrix to link to you, or Cisco to link to you, or LogMeIn.com to link to you, that really, really, really helps your page rank. So that's something that you should really look at, trying to figure out how you can get these people to link to you. So all backlinks are links to your website from other websites. You can get these links by any number of fashion. Google is actually not as picky about these links as many people think. Google thinks that links on Facebook are just as good as links on any other website. Or a lot of people say that links on Twitter are not used by Google. Links on Twitter are used by Google. So if you have links to your website on Facebook, if you have a Twitter account and there's links to your website on Twitter, that helps you out. When you go to blogs and you leave a comment, when you leave that comment, you're able to leave the the web address of whatever website you host, those links can help you out for backlinks. So a lot of people will leave comments so that they get the backlinks and they get the points for that. The one thing that you have to be careful about before you go out there and you just start trying to spam everybody, leaving all these comments, is there are two different types of links that are shown when a website shows a hyperlink. So they show a hyperlink and you can click on it and you go to the site. That's all you see as a normal person. What Google sees is there are two types of links. There's something called a follow link and a no follow link. So what a follow link is when the robot goes to that hyperlink and it sees the follow, it will follow the link to the other website. And then that other website will get a little bit of page rank points because of it. Because it goes, oh, this website cares about you. Okay, it's a follow link. There is something called a no follow link. What a no follow link is basically this tells Google not to follow the link. For whatever reason, you have this link on your website, but you don't want Google to go there. You're not trying to help them get any page rank. So if you leave comments on many WordPress blogs or Drupal blogs, when you leave your website address, many times that is a no follow link. So that's actually not going to help you for page rank. So just keep that in mind before you go out there and start trying to leave, your web address on a million different websites. So all backlinks are, this is very simple, but it's very important. This really, really helps you on page rank. All backlinks are the hyperlinks to your site. So when one site links to you, that's a backlink. You get more points for page rank based on the quality of the site that is linking to you. Like I said, Billy Bo Bob's blog, if it links to you, you will get a couple of points. It'll help you a little bit. If logmein.com or Sun Microsystems points to you, you get a lot of points because obviously Sun Microsystems matters in the world. So if Sun points to you, it means at least you're saying something a little smart. They don't want to see what's called reciprocal links or links back and forth. So they want one-way links. They want one site to link to you. They don't want to see that one site links to you and then you link back to that site. That's just a no-go. It can hurt you for points. Facebook and Twitter are fine for backlinks. Most people don't realize that. But the thing that you have to be careful about, especially if you try to go out and you start trying to leave comments on hundreds of different websites, is there are two different types of links that Google can look at. There are called follow links, and follow links are where the Google robot will follow the link and you will get points because of it, or something called no follow links, and basically you just don't get any points for it. So that's backlinks. It's pretty simple. Just keep those ideas in mind and you'll be good. Now the latest thing that Google is pushing is something called page speed, which again is not a difficult concept to get through your head. Basically what Google is thinking is that people want to see websites that load quickly. So websites that load more quickly than other websites are preferential. So the faster your website loads, the more points you get. That's about all there is to it. Basically, this has not been fully implemented yet. They're pushing it, and you can now get reports about how fast your website is. But they will start pushing this in the future. So you will start getting page rank. You will start getting points for how fast your website will load. Everymanit.com, I just looked at the page speed. Our site loads in approximately 1.2 seconds. So we're pretty good to go as far as Google page speed is concerned. Eli the Computer Guy.com, I don't worry about so much anymore. It's kind of a mess. It can take up to 8 seconds to load. So Google doesn't like it so much, and at some point that will start affecting where Eli the Computer Guy shows up on Google search results. So all Google page speed is how fast your website loads. Google does have a plugin, or an add-on I guess, for Mozilla Firefox that allows you to actually analyze your website for how fast it loads, and then it gives you reports on things that you can do to make your website load faster. So it'll tell you to do something called minify, it'll tell you to gzip some of your files. It will give you advice about how to make your website faster. So Google At least at this point, Google says it's not using speed for PageRank, but it will shortly, so you might as well make your website as fast as possible. All this is how fast your website loads. If you have a lot of Flash graphics, if you have a lot of JavaScript that doesn't do a whole lot, or other things that really slows your website load speed down, this will affect you in the future. So it's just page speed, make your website load fast, and Google will like you. Now, a few things about the pages that are actually on your website and the links that are on your website. The first thing when you create the page, so this isn't really the content, this is the page itself. You should know about the title tag. So the title tag it's up in the head when you're writing the HTML code, and when somebody opens your web page, all the way at the top, all the way above the address bar, above the file, edit tools, or whatever's up there, there's that little bluish bar, and it'll say like everymanit.com free computer training. It has a message up there, like CNN.com, the world's place for news. There's just a little message. That title really actually does help you a lot for Google search engine optimization, because basically Google looks at that title to determine what your website is about. It's a very good clue about what is on the page. So when you create your website, make sure that that title says something about your website. So if you're in Baltimore and you do Baltimore computer repair, you would put, it's like Eli the Computer Guy, the best place in Baltimore for computer repair. By putting that in the title, Google really does give a lot of points to that. So when people go and they search for Baltimore computer repair, that would show up higher. So try to make the titles of your pages relevant to what's on the page. Again, this isn't home, this isn't about, this is that title all the way up at the top, that little blue bar that's all the way at the top. The next thing is the links to the different pages on your website. When you click, to go to a blog post, you click to go to a different page. Make sure those links actually say something that a normal human could read. So if you're going to the data recovery page of your website, that page should be called datarecovery.htm or datarecovery.html. Google looks at that and goes, oh, hey, this is a data recovery page. Again, this helps your points. You can have a problem, especially, one, if whoever designed your website was a new web programmer, they may have not done the naming convention very well. So it might be like page 2, page 3, page 4. Or if you use a piece of software like WordPress for your site, they use the same thing where it's like LP3 or something to name pages. This will not help you with Google PageRank, because it looks at it and goes page 2. What does that mean? It doesn't know what that means. If it looks at, it says datarecovery.htm, it knows what datarecovery.htm is. If it looks at page 2.htm, it doesn't know what that means. So when you're coming up with the names for the different pages on your website, actually name the file name itself something that Google would find relevant. So datarecovery.htm, laptoprepair.htm, not page2.htm. That doesn't do anything for you. The next thing is, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you shouldn't use relative links for linking to different pages on your website. Google doesn't find this useful for PageRank. So what is a relative link? Hopefully you know something about HTML programming, or some of this is going to get a little confusing. But all the relative link does, if you put a relative link in, you're saying, in relation to the page you are now, I want you to go to this other page. So you may say, go up a folder, go down a folder, from where you are now, go to this other page. An actual link is where you type in http://www.everymanit.com/ the page you're going to. And that is what you want. You want a full web address to all links in your website. Google uses this to index your website. So if you have relative links, it doesn't know what to do with them. It doesn't fill in the blanks. It just looks /content/data recovery. That's meaningless to it. If it says http://www.everymanit.com/content/data recovery, that means something to it, and that will get cataloged and indexed properly. If you use relative links, it's not going to work out. So basically, make sure your page titles, all the way at the top, the title tag says something relevant about the website. Make sure the pages, what they are actually named, matter to Google. Again, data recovery.htm versus page2.htm. And then the links, just don't use relative links. You use the full path. That will really help you out. And that's really all you need to know about the internal links on your site. Well, we're coming close to the end of the class. Basically, I've described the majority of what you need to understand to do search engine optimization for your website. You know, there's little tips and tricks and stuff that you can play with, but these are the basic concepts that you need to understand to make your website look better as far as Google is concerned. You know, make good content, make content that your visitors want to see, and then make sure that content is in text. So Google cannot read video, it can't read Flash, it can't read music files, so it can only read text. So make your content, you know, look good in text. Create that XML site map. That XML site map is a little map for the robot so that it can follow and index your website properly. The backlinks, all this is hyperlinks to your website. Who links to your website? The more important they are, the more points you get for it. Page speed, of course, is just how fast your website loads. The faster your website loads, again, not right this second, but pretty soon, the faster your website loads, the happier Google, or the more Google is going to like your website. The internal links, you know, we just went through that whole thing. Don't do relative links. Make sure you've got the page titles set up properly, and do the full path to all the pages on your website. Now, I've talked and I've mentioned WordPress in this class. We are going to have a full class on how to set up WordPress and all the wonderfulness about WordPress. WordPress is probably the best way to create a website for 99% of small businesses. Basically, WordPress is a whole framework and architecture that allows you to very simply and easily create websites, and create websites that are going to be easily viewed and navigated by your visitors, and then to actually also be able to put in components to make your website work better. Like I say, with WordPress, you can add in these things called plugins. Plugins are like modules, they're like additional programs. And so, like everymanit.com, we have a special plugin that we put in there that allows us to automatically create XML site maps. So I don't have to go through the mess of creating site maps. It just automatically does it for me. I don't have to pay a dime. It's completely free. There are things like a WordPress to Twitter plugins. So whenever I create a post or a page on the everymanit.com website, it automatically posts a tweet to Twitter with a link back. So I'm getting all those backlinks automatically. So every time I create something, a post or a page, a tweet is automatically created, and that helps me out. WordPress has all these modules and functionality, and it just makes your life a lot easier. Again, we are going to have a class on WordPress, but until you do, I mean, it's worth your time to go out there and figure out how to use it. It's not difficult to install, really. If you know anything about web programming or web administration, it's very easy to install, and it works very well. As a business owner, I'm going to tell you this, is some people don't like WordPress because basically all WordPress sites look a lot the same. They all basically look the same. You can change the background colors, you can change the fonts, you can change some stuff, but they all look like WordPress websites. So a lot of like the professionals don't like using them because they don't feel like their clients are getting the most original websites out there. Well, remember, people like familiarity. They like going to websites that they understand. They like things that are simple, that are easy. So although WordPress websites may not be the most creative things you've ever seen in your life, clients customers, people that are paying the bill at the end of the day, love them because they can just use them. They can just go to the website, they can get the information they need, and they can go on about their day. So WordPress websites are great, especially if you're doing search engine optimization. They have special plugins to make your WordPress website look even better to Google, and it's all done automatically. If you're worried about search engine optimization, you really should look at creating a WordPress website. It has the built-in blogging capability already built in, but you don't have to make it a blog. Everymanit.com is not actually a blog. It's just a series of pages. So WordPress can do a lot for you. We will have a class, but if you're looking at doing search engine optimization for you or your clients, learn WordPress. You can't go wrong. So basically, we've gone over almost everything for this class. I want to take you over to my computer right now. I'm going to give you a demonstration of the Google Webmaster tools. This isn't going to be a full class in Google Webmaster tools, but I just want to give you an idea of what Webmaster tools provides you so that you go out and you get your account, because you really need it. So now we're at my computer. This is the home page again for Google Webmaster Tools. As you can see, I have a couple of sites set up on Google Webmaster Tools. Let's just go to everymanit.com. Now this is the dashboard for everymanit.com, and it shows you a lot of information about how Google sees your website. This first part here says top search queries, so I can see the top search queries that have brought people to my site. So Everymanit, Spyware Doctor, PC Tool, Security Tool, these are the search words that have brought people to everymanit.com. We can see crawl errors. These are problems where Google for some reason can't find something that it wants to find. This shows you links to your site, just a little dashboard of that. And then the significance of keywords on your site. So the most significant keyword on my site is actually share. The second is computer, then introduction, then required. And then down at the bottom it says whether or not I have an XML site map or not. So if we go to site configuration, we can take a look and we can see the status of our sitemap. So I do have a sitemap submitted. It was downloaded by Google on March 11th. It says URLs submitted and the URLs indexed. You can see crawler access. This has to do with the robot.txt file. We won't worry about that right now. Site links, change of address, settings. These are all just generic things that you can take a look at. Your site on the web. So we can go to top search queries. On the left hand side, it shows you the top searches where your website appeared. So again, Everyman, Spyware Doctor, PC Tools. And it shows you the position that you were in the search results. And then on the right hand side, it shows you the actual click-throughs. So actually what I got click-through'd for was Everymanit and Everymanit.com. That was in position 1. That's a good thing. Links to your site. This shows you the backlinks to your site. So it shows how many links were to a specific page. So let's say laptop repair here has 13 links. Everymanit.com has 52 links. You can actually download the entire table and see exactly what links to where on your website. Again, keyword significance. So for Everymanit, share is the most significant thing, then computer, then introduction, required, Facebook, data, advertising, etc. Internal links. This shows the links within your website. So this is where one page links to another page on your website. So tracks of study, web marketing, there are 37 links, 37 places that point to that within the website. Subscriber stats. This would say if people are subscribed to your RSS feeds. We have diagnostics. This shows you the crawl errors. So if Google is having problems crawling through your website, this will show you why. The crawl stats. So this actually shows you
how much Google is looking at your site on a given period of time. So it says the pages that were crawled per day, kilobytes downloaded per day, and then time spent downloading all that information. Then the big one now is we go to labs and we go down to site performance. So as we can see here, on average, the pages in my site load in 1.2 seconds, and it says this is faster than 84% of the sites on the internet. So I'm doing pretty good. So this is where it shows you the speed. Basically, all these Google Webmaster tools are different reports on how Google sees your website on the web. So again, if you want to modify things, or if you want to see how your search engine optimization is doing, you just need to use Google Webmaster tools to make sure they're seeing the things that you want to see, or see what they're seeing that they're not supposed to see. So that's all it is. Let's go back out to the real world and some final thoughts.
So we've gone through the whole spiel on search engine optimization. Like I say, this is the internet equivalent to sliced bread. This is wonderful. This is great. If you're going to do web marketing, before you spend a dime on web marketing, I would suggest you come up with your search engine optimization strategy and make sure your website is optimized for search engines. Because, I mean, this, other than the work involved, it's just free. Once you set it up, it's just free. It just works. It just brings you clients. And the nice part is just like Google AdWords, people are searching for what you are. So like I say, with Baltimore Computer Repair, where I showed you where I come up number 3, and data recovery I come up number 1, laptop repair number 1. When people plug that in, you pop up first. And that's just great. That's a gravy train. We've gone over the reason that we target Google versus Yahoo versus Bing. You know, I say Google brought 18,000 plus organic visitors to my site. Yahoo was 321, and Bing was 287 last year. So Google is the major player for doing search engine optimization. Before you set up your search engine optimization, you need to get Google Analytics set up. If you haven't done that, you're a moron. You need to get the Google Webmaster tools. I just showed you, a demonstration. It's not that hard. You can go on there. You can learn it in a couple hours. It's just reports, basically. You just learn how to get the reports. And then also, whether for search engine optimization or not, make sure your business is in Google's local business center. That's where you tell Google what your business is, where you're located, etc. Because remember, Google is now trying to geographically target search results. So if you don't have the address in Google, Google doesn't know where you are geographically. So that geographic targeting really, really will help you out in life. As far as content goes, remember, Google can't read pictures, video, etc. Just write a good website. Write a good website with a lot of text. Having a blog as a part of your website is one of the best things that you can possibly do. Just sit down, take 15 minutes every other day and write a blog post about your business. Beyond search engine optimization, I can tell you as a fact, clients love to see this because they see what's going on in your head. They see what you're thinking. They see why you come up with the decisions that you make. So it makes them more confident to come to you as clients. But as far as this class is concerned, it helps with search engine optimization because you dump in massive amounts of organic search words because you're just writing about the topic. The XML Site Map, of course. This is a map that tells the robot how to find things in your site. There's different pieces of software out there. We talked about that. The main thing is just get an XML site map up on your website. It really, really will help you. Backlinks, of course, are all the links that come to your website. The more important the website is that links to your website, the more points you get. The less important, you still get points, but not as many. Before you go out there and you start spamming all of the little comment blocks on all the different blogs out there, do remember there are 2 types of these backlinks. There are follow and no follow. If the website that you're leaving a comment on or your website on has the no follow link, then that does not help you as far as Google is concerned. So there's no reason wasting your time doing that. Page speed, of course, is how fast your web page loads up. Faster is better. Again, Google is not putting that into the page rank yet, but they will very shortly. Talked about the internal links. Don't use relative links when you link to other pages in your website. Use the full address, web address. Page titles. The page titles should be relevant to whatever's on the page, and actually name the HTML files something relevant to Google. Data recovery, etc. We went over WordPress. WordPress makes your life incredibly easy. I would suggest that you use WordPress for designing your website or most other websites. You get this whole artist thing going on where, oh, it's not original enough. Well, people don't always want original. McDonald's, if people wanted original, McDonald's would not be one of the most successful companies ever. Think about that. So people like the same, and they'll pay for the same, so that's good. The final thought with all of this is I've gone over basically everything that you need to understand for search engine optimization. When you go out on the web and when you Google SEO or search engine optimization after this, you're just going to see tons and tons and tons of results. Some of the results are free, some people want $100. Everybody's trying to make money off this huge thing called search engine optimization. Well, because you don't need any certifications to say you do search engine optimization. You don't need any proof that you can actually get results. You just say, hey, I can do search engine optimization. Google has an entire YouTube channel about Google search engine optimization. We'll have a link on our little class notes. If you have a question about Google search engine optimization, just go there. I have spent hours watching their videos. This is from Google's mouth. You don't have, this isn't some weird theory of God knows who. This isn't some PhD saying, oh, I found some new trick for Google's algorithm. This is Google. Google wants you to be successful. Their product that they sell is search results. So they want to try to help, like I say, good web designers make their websites come up better. The better the websites that show up, the better Google does. So they tell you everything. This channel, I give you the link for, basically is full of just question and answer sessions where they have just a little 1-paragraph email question, and the guy that does it spends a minute or two to specifically answer that question. If you have questions about search engine optimization, go to that YouTube channel, watch all those videos, and all of your questions will be answered. Because, like I say, my irritation in the world is, I don't mind really arrogant computer geeks that know their stuff, and I don't really mind people that know nothing about computers. But what I hate in the world is these people that know nothing about computers but then act like they're really arrogant computer geeks. And that is basically what you find in all these search engine optimization results that you're looking for. All these tutorials, all these videos, all this other garbage. Most of these people don't have a damn clue what they're talking about, but they're trying to sell a product, and like all get rich quick schemes and that kind of thing, people buy it. So if this class isn't good enough for you, this is a good basis. But if you need to know anything else, go to that YouTube channel and watch those videos. They will tell you everything you need to know. So, as always, I'm Eli the Computer Guy. This was search engine optimization. I look forward to seeing you at the next class.